to our today's topic, which you can see that what other students have done. There is the comparison of like networks of keyword with the co-occurring words between male, female, between economic status of the country of origin, destination, and also there is some comparison of men and women as well. So what other student done, and today we are going to talk, or I'm going to talk about coding, especially qualitative coding and the computer assisted form of it. To recap from the last lecture, when I touched the issue that the coding is a way how to assign or how to transform data from their original context into the scientific context. So it's a technique that by which we assign parts of empirical data to analytical units, and these analytical units that are assigned are called codes. So this you can see that we can code brothers and sisters by one code, were given by another code, and book, or we I think we is another code, and book is code C, which book can be object, V is subject. So we coded subject, object, and this is some actors, so it could be coded. And why we code? It's one reason is to transform natural data into scientific context, or analytical context. But the second reason, which is also very important, is that we reduce complexity of data. And next, we can analyze just frequencies of codes or relations between codes, and not to deal with the data itself. So this is the second important thing about coding, that coding reduces complexity of data and allows for further systematic analysis. That we work with code. So this is coding, and we can have generally two types of coding: quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative coding is convenient when we have a large amount of text that we cannot read, we cannot code it manually. For example, these 1,000 migrants stories, to read them, to code them manually, it's impossible. So the quantitative coding is a necessity, and our coding was that we used keywords. So it's most frequent words as keywords, so as code. So if we selected, for example, bigrams like not feeling safe, or don't feel, for example, or feel safe, we use these words, piece of data, as codes, because we believe that we understand what the word feel means in the context. So this is a special kind of coding that we use it's in vivo coding, that we use the very piece of data as a code. And we can use this inductive and exploratory analysis for learning about data and to analyze data. And this is what is important, is that we don't use the textual data only, but we combine them with another type of data, like gender, or I thought about infection rate or economic indicators, and we combine these two types of data, textual data and non-textual data, and we make inferences about the phenomenon we are studying. That means migration. So if we are able to combine in quantitative, we are talking about quantitative coding. In quantitative coding, if we have a lot of text and we are able to combine textual data analysis with some non-textual variables, like economics indicators, we can make inferences about the phenomenon we are studying. But this is for quantitative analysis. But sometimes we have we don't have a huge corpus of text. We have just a few, for example, 10 biographic interviews, or even 3. We can do interview with ex-presidents of some country, living ex-presidents of some country, and we can have 3 biographic interviews, and we want to analyze them because we are interested in president careers, ex-president careers. So we cannot, if we have a little amount of text, we cannot use quantitative coding for 2 reasons, principally. First, if we count frequencies, so they are so low that make it don't make it possible to detect any significant pattern, because we have like 3 occurrences or 5 occurrences, and with these numbers we cannot say if it's just random co-occurrences or if there is a pattern. So this is a problem why we cannot use quantitative coding or quantitative analysis in low amount of text. The second is that to know just frequencies or collocates or co-occurrences or some relationships, it tells us only a fraction of like meaning or like what is contained in these data. So these biographical narratives, 3 biographical narratives, for example, supposedly communicate more than just what we are able to cover by numbers or indicate by numbers. So we need something different from reducing text to numbers or to relationship, and this is done principally by qualitative coding. And how does it proceed? When we code qualitatively, we read data, closely read. It means we pay attention to every word in data, and we code it manually. We can do it with the help of computer, of course, but we don't code automatically, that we just say all sentences containing word work will be coded by code work. No, it's manual coding. It means that we read data and we code it each instance, each by one by one. And we can use, as in quantitative coding, we can use both deductive and inductive coding. It means that we can rely on pre-existing code books, or we can generate codes from our data. Oh, I see that. Yeah. So these are two types of coding, and to show you the difference and related problems, we have an example of family analysis. So we are doing analysis of the phenomenon of family, and we got this sentence in our data: brothers and sisters, we were given this book to look around us better. And the corpus was created through the search of like the family members in like media text or in some like resource and archive. And for dictionary base, or it means deductive coding, we start with a code book that we received that was generated on another study, another research, or theoretically. And we suppose that in feminine analysis we are interested in kinship relationships, like like uh, like mother, father, brother, sister, etc. These actions that happen within a family and objects that occur within a family. So with this code book, we code the text and we find that there is kinship members or elements, brothers and sisters. We see action were given to look around, and we code one object that is book. So this is procedure of deductive coding or dictionary-based coding. But we can see that the coding is not appropriate, because here in the sentence, brothers and sisters are not relatives, but it's addressing people in a religious context, that they call themselves brothers and sisters. Sometimes in political parties or in some groups, people call themselves brothers and sisters. So we see that just using this code book doesn't guarantee that codes are valid or applied validly. So the problem is that we never know whether the result is valid, even if we read it in this context. Yes, I applied like wrongly, and I should not use this kinship category, kinship code to brothers and sisters. But if we have like longer text and we have coders that are not so like aware of possibilities of different types of like addressing, or they don't know religious practices, they would code it as kinship because it contains the kinship like labels or kinship elements. So the validity is problem here, because dictionaries were created on other data, not the real data we have here about religious practice. And also the problem is agreement between coders, because some coder can label this or code this brother and sisters as kinship, and other coder would not do that. For example, me, because I know that brothers and sisters are not members of one family, but it's a like a pseudo family type of address. And inductive coding is that we read it and we try to generate new codes that we think are appropriate from the pieces of data we have. So I would call brothers and sisters, or I would code brothers and sisters as family-like address. Were given like donation, it's donation. Were given book for me. There here is related to knowledge, and better here is in the context of this statement. It means improvement for me. So I would create these 4 codes and will continue to code the rest of data. And the problem is here that the validity is not a major issue, because yeah, it's a donation, really donation, and knowledge. Yes, perhaps book improvement. But the problem is consistency between coders, because if you do this kind of coding, you probably will come up with other codes, and this is problem because the research is not reproducible. Any researcher can do other codes, and so we will not have research that is reliable, we can trustful, because anyone can come with whatever codes thinks it's valid for the content. So we have the result is that researchers often combine these two types of coding, dictionary-based and inductive. They may start with the code book, and if the code book is not working well, they add some categories. For example, not using kinship, but using kinship-like phenomenon, and action would be differentiated in various categories, like various codes, like donation and other types of action, and there could be new category of improvement. So we can combine both in qualitative coding. In quantitative coding, this is not possible almost practically, because we don't read the text to know how to get the idea how to code. So there is real. This is a passage from one migrant's narrative of Achol. I think I don't know if I read it well, but if I pronounce it well, but I would say that it's Achol, and our task is to code all passages referring to the narrator's discomfort. So the code is discomfort, and we should code it. And so, for example, you can say,
Martin, I'm very sorry to disturb you, but we are still see your slide with the title. Yeah, okay, now that's perfect.
Sorry, because it's just sometimes the sharing is paused. I don't know why, but yeah, so okay. So we are here. This is the passage from the narrative, one of the narratives, and you should look for discomfort. And it's about that Eshol was faced with the hard choice to leave the protection of civilian side following the clashes due to her family's ethnicity, now living in the decrepit church compound with other South Sudanese from the Dinka tribe. Eshol and her family are forced to readjust in their temporary accommodations. Even though I am out here, there is still a huge need for a nurse, but it's difficult to work without supplies. She's stressed. I delivered 3 babies in the past week. Now her focus is building a future in Malakal town. I can't go back to the protection of civilian side, but honestly, I don't want to go anywhere else. Malakal is my home. This is the extract, and we see that there is discomfort in it, certainly, but the problem is where it is exactly. And someone can label this part as the coded as the discomfort. Now living with other Eshol and her family are forced to readjust in the temporary accommodation. So this is discomfort, the readjusting temporary accommodation. But other coder could code this piece, but also the second one, which is following. Even though I am out here, there is still a huge need for a nurse, but it's difficult to work without supplies. So this is also discomfort, this like working discomfort. And still, other one can label the last sentence as an expression of discomfort. I can't go back to the POC side, but honestly, I don't want to go anywhere else. Malakal is my home. So there is a problem between security and work and feeling of home. So this is also expression of discomfort. And finally, the first sentence relates somehow to discomfort too. Was faced with the hard choice to leave the site, the protection of civilian site following the clashes due to her family's ethnicity. So we can say that the discomfort can be located in all, but also in some pieces of data. And the disagreement between coders that label different parts is natural, because it reflects various intensity of discomfort in the text. And we feel it depends on our perception of the intensity. And for someone, the threshold for discomfort, I'm talking about coders. For some coder, the threshold level for discomfort is higher than for other one, and it's not possible to objectively make a line and to say this is not discomfort, it's comfort, still comfort, and this is already discomfort. So it's impossible to get rid of subjective reading of the text, because we humans do read subjectively. And so how to cope with this problem? And so we cannot like prevent the disagreement between coders. This is the nature of the text, that it's open to multiple interpretation, at least by human readers, but by machines, I think when machines become more intelligent, they will have the same problem, that the sensitivity of the meaning play important role. However, it is possible, and this will be the rest of my presentation, to try to align coders as much as possible, like to give them guide how to decide in this situation when they are not sure what code as the phenomenon. And also sometimes when it is not possible to have disagreements, just to make it visible and to know about it, to be reflexive that we do coding, and we disagree in our coding, but we can monitor our disagreement and acknowledge it in the analysis. That some texts, for example, we consider them that are difficult to code, and we know why they are difficult to code, and we can even exclude it from analysis because they are too difficult to code. And this is not possible to do it without computer, or it would be very, very difficult to do it manually, like on paper. But there is a way how to do it, how to assist this like reflexivity enhancement and aligning coders with the software. And this is the software that we are developing for this purpose, to help researchers in qualitative coding to do their coding more reproducible. It means that if two researchers are doing the same type of coding, that they will arrive at the similar results. And results, I mean, generally, they can say that this is very difficult to code. This is also a result that could be obtained by using this software. So this is reQual software, and re stands for reproducibility, and qual is qualitative analysis. So it's reproducible qualitative analysis, which is our aim, but we are just trying to experiment with possibilities how to make qualitative coding more reproducible, how to cope with the problem of intercoder disagreement which is so pervasive in qualitative coding. It is an open source software. It means that anyone can look at it and to check the code and to know how it works. It's free. Anyone can use it and know, because normal software for qualitative analysis are quite expensive, even especially if you use collaborative version of it, cloud version of it. And also this is there is written multi-purpose, but it means multi-platform software, that you can use it on any operation system like Windows, iOS, or Linux. And you can use it as a web application, so you don't need to install it. Or if you want the single user version, you can install it on your computer. And we will visit the site of the program, and we will go to the server version, and I will show you how it works and how it can help with intercode agreement and making your research, your coding more transparent when you code qualitatively. So when you have a small number of documents which are not reasonable to code quantitatively, so you can use this software. So you log in, and I have to say that it's still work in progress. So there can be some bugs, but I hope it will go well. So here you can create your project, or you can load, as in such case, I will load migrant narratives project that I have created for this lecture, and this is the main screen. You can manage documents. I already uploaded 4 stories. There are metadata that's from South Sudan to New Zealand. That it's male story, and there is the economic information, GDP, etc. So we have 4 documents. You can add document by clicking on plus icon. You can create document by pasting or upload from computer, or you can delete documents. You can manage users if it's collaborative work. You have 4 users attached to the project, and also there are some permissions. There are permissions for work, but it's not important here. If we go to the codebook screen, we have just one code, discomfort, and we can make a color for it, and also description. If you want to add a code, just click on plus icon. You can write the name of code, the description, and select color for it. So you can merge codes or delete codes. You can also create categories, but we don't have any category. We don't need it. We need just one code, discomfort.
And how we can add one more interview from the project that was the previous thing that you have used. There were few people from I think most from Africa, and how it's possible to add other narratives.
Here you can do it by 2 manners. This is that you copy it from the file. You pick each narrative and you paste it here.
And from where I take their names?
The names from there is the Excel file in the Google Drive. There is a name and these metadata and the text itself. There is an Excel file, Excel table, or spreadsheet table. But this is not, I'm not you will not have homework to do this analysis. I'm just showing you how to do, how to work with the program. And it's there is a possibility to copy and paste method, how to upload the file, or how to create a document or upload a file. There is 2 minutes to and yes.
So they were separated, like for the names, is Excel files, because some people from, if I'd like to analyze the people from Czech Republic, for example, who immigrated, or from other countries.
Yeah, I can create, for example, document name will be Simon, which is Czech name. I can make description Czech Republic, mail, and there will be in Czech. So create, and we have the new document.
And if I'd like to take all this information from these immigrants' narratives, so
it's in the shared Google Drive. I don't have address here, but you can find the Excel sheet, table sheet.
Or I need to copy, so the copy is information. So I need to copy their letters and then paste them here, yeah? So it's like this. Oh, okay, great. Now I understood. Thank you.
Okay. So this is the project screen. You can go to this is the code book screen, and there is the work desk, and we can select from any of document, and our document is reQual, and I already coded some piece of text, but the coding, you can do it by just marking it and clicking on this comfort. So this is how to code. I can remove code, but now we are I'm showing it to how to code with that. There are multiple coders that coded the same text differently, and how to solve this problem of coder disagreement. So one coder, it's me here, coded just this passage, this segment of the passage that we analyzed a couple minutes ago. And next we can go to analysis, just to show that there are all segments that were coded in all documents. And if you want to see just one document, so we click here, we filter by document, and we see only the segment that I coded in actual narrative, and I can export it as a CSV file or HTML file, and I can work with it separately, or I can select all these narrative and export all, and I can see which document will label it by which code, etc. But the most important for our purposes for this class is this report screen, where we can see like the summary table that the code discomfort was used just once in ABAN narrative, was coded by coders 4 times in Senghor and 10 times in reQual by all coders that coded. But we are talking about these 4 that I selected. So it's just these 4. We have only one code here, and if I select the actual, no, so we set an actual. So we have 10 instances of coding for all, and we can ask about agreement between coders. So how differently coders code it, and you can see the overlap by characters. So how many characters were labeled by the coders, and I just select the 4 ones, and what we can see here, there are coders. This is Nina coder, Martin coder, Lisa coder, and Babička coder. There are 4 coders, and we can see that there is the scale of overlapping. I hope you can see it. I can magnify it a bit. See it better. So there is no overlap if it's like dark violet color, and the yellow color is the total overlap in characters. How many characters in the text were coded by 2 coders? And we can see that Lisa with Babička is agree most on the coding of this passage in the narrative. So they are similar in their manner of coding, while Babička and me are not similar at all. So there we can see that there is a problem, and so we need to solve the problem that me and Babička are coding differently, and also me and Lisa are coding differently, which is logic if Lisa and Babička are coding the similar way, and the rest is like in between. Also me and Nina. So I'm like outlier in this coding, so I'm a problem as a coder. And we would like to know, we can also look at another measure. This is segments. It's if there is any overlap, it will show. So it's similar. It's quite similar. There are slight differences, but sometimes it's better to look at pure overlap. Even if we overlap this one word, it's enough, because we are just on the same place. But sometimes it's better to look on overlap by characters. How many characters were labeled? So if we want to know even more, we can go to browse code documents. Select this is our document. We have just one code, and coders are again this 4, and browse, and we can see here the text, and we can look exactly where we have. I have to move this. Sorry. Yes. We have to see when only one coder coded. This is coded just by one person, and we can see that this is coded by me. You can see the black window is coded by me, while this is coded by Lisa. So it's only one person labeled this as an instance of discomfort, while this was coded by 2 people, 2 coders, and we have this of 4 coders. So we know that this is like the passage that is consensual, that we all know that this is discomfort, and what we need to discuss is where we as a team would like to include the rest in our interpretation of discomfort. And this is base for discussion within a team. And we can discuss it, decide how we define more precisely discomfort. That discomfort means that we face a very difficult situation in our life, for example. So we will not consider this as instance of discomfort. And we can do we can code another document altogether, each independently, and we can do this analysis again. And in this iterative process, we can achieve a better intercode agreement as a team. And of course, the agreement will not be perfect because the data are not often like open to interpretation, but we can align ourselves as much as possible for coders, and this program can help. There is also one tool that I would like to show you, and this is that works with user attributes. I apologize, it's in Czech, but I will explain it. That each coder has to enter its attribute. This is gender, this is place of living, this is political attitude, and this is social class. These attitudes are kept privately, so no one can see this attitude, and we can enter it. So we can enter it now. Here, if I click on edit, I can select gender, I can select place of living, my political attitude, etc., my class. And next, we can observe if the agreement here has something to do with this attitude and with these attributes. And I will go back to the presentation, and because this is on this screen, so it's about user attitude, because, and I have to explain it here because it's not implemented still in the program. So we don't have it in the program, but this is how we think it will work. So as I explained, in sociological perspective, coders are embedded in the social environment. So they code according their social position. They can recognize something as significant because of their gender, because of their age, ethnicity, religion, class, etc. But it's surprising that no software for qualitative analysis includes this functionality. So there is no way how to observe positionality of analysts during coding. So we designed the procedure that is already existing but still not implemented in the program. That you, as I showed you, or coders, all coders can or should indicate their attributes, and we can visualize which attribute influence which code. So we can imagine that this code 3, would be discomfort, and we can say that gender of coders, if we have, of course, we should have a team of more than like 2 people, at least 4, but sometimes we can do it for like in big teams of 6-7 people, of 6-7 coders, not the analyst itself, but the coders. and we can say that gender has no influence on perception or label coding discomfort, but it could have influence on some code, I don't know what, some code 4 that that is sensitive to gender of the coder, and we can observe which code is sensitive to what attribute. For example, the attribute can be like research experience if it's a student or experienced researcher, or it's someone who is highly on Instagram or Facebook, or just not participating in social media. We can make any attribute relevant here, and to observe if any of these attributes have any influence on any code. And I think that this feedback is good to stimulate discussion about codes and categories and coders. So because sometimes data are really, how to say, that our perception difference, especially in poverty, that someone from the higher social status don't perceive poverty in the same eyes as members of the lower classes. And we can see if in our research we respect these different perspectives of different coders. So yeah, that's all for today. I just summarize the main points that that in sociology, and we are talking about sociologically informed textual analysis, software is necessary for both quantitative analysis and not necessary, but useful for qualitative analysis. So do use software. It's better than to do it without software. The key question is whether to choose a deductive, confirmatory, or inductive exploratory approach. And my suggestion is to use pragmatic combination of the two. So to do part of the pilot study inductively, and to merge it with deductive confirmatory study. It's always beneficial to include non-textual variables when working with textual data. So just for sociology, we want to talk about reality that is outside of text. So to make contribution to knowledge about society that is non-textual, it's good to take text as information about society, but we have to like couple this information with some non-textual data, non-textual indicators. And the fourth one, the last one, that the transparency of analytical process, how we do coding, how do we transforming processing, this is very important, not only to having, not only to know about coders, but also that the software is transparent, that is the best is that it's open source, so anyone can use it, and it's for free, that anyone can like repeat the study with the same software. Thank you for your attention, and now I don't know exactly how much we have time. Yes, we have a lot of time for discussion, so I can get back to any topic within the two lectures, and yeah, we can discuss it, and I can talk about it more if you want.